So this is now another lesson. I'm only going to be able to finish it next lesson. We're still working with quadratic equation. The only difference is, we looked at fractions. We just solved the question with a fraction. It wasn't on the video, but you saw it. What's the difference between this fraction and the fraction we had before? There's a variable at the bottom. So there's nothing new here really. We've done that stuff in grade 10. Okay? In fact, even in grade 9. But now we're also going to solve them. So do you remember what's the problem? What could be the disaster if you have an x at the bottom? Well, one thing, to get rid of it is actually not difficult. You just multiply it by x, right?
That's what I said.
But what is the possible issue? Remember, we have what I call a restrictions. We have to put restriction. What must x not equal to?
0.
We can't have 0 at the bottom, right?
Interesting.
Interesting. Right? Because if x was 0, 6 divided by 0 is undefined. One lesson maybe we can chat about why you can't divide by 0. Okay? But in essence, you get infinities. Okay? So we can't divide by 0. So what we got to do, and I really recommend, is writing it down next to it. Must say x must not be equal to 0. It's not that x can never be equal to 0, but in this question, if x was 0, it will be 0 in the denominator. If I had, let's say, instead of x plus 2, let's say that was the question, then what must x not be equal to? Negative 2. You see that? And I remember you had trouble with that last year. Okay? Don't automatically say x not equal to 0. You have to look at the denominator and say the denominator must not be equal to 0. So in other words, x must not be equal to minus 2. Okay? But we're staying with this specific case. So x is not equal to 0. Okay, now Simon, how do we get rid of it? No problem. You want to get rid of a denominator, multiply it by it. So we multiply both sides by x. We multiply that by x, we multiply that by x. Okay, so we open it. Right? Like Jacques said, we FOIL, okay? X squared minus 5x equals 6x. And then what do?
You bring it
Everything to the same side. X squared minus 11x equals 0. And then don't start using the formula, okay? Don't even use the calculator. What's the first thing we should always look for to make our life really easy?
Take out x.
A common factor, x. So x minus 11 equal to 0. That is much easier in the calculator. Look, I know you like the calculator, but there's a lot of chance of making mistakes.
11.
So now we've got two solutions. x1 is equal to 11. So if x is 11, this is going to be 0. And the x2 will be equal to?
0.
Okay. Easy one. So you've got two solutions. Are both of them correct? No. That's why we need to write, and I did write originally in red, okay? Write down the restriction first. That's called a restriction. Write it first before you multiply by x, because otherwise you'll forget. And then you see, okay, but x must not be equal to 0. Therefore, I must cancel this solution. There's only one allowed solution here. I'll pause, give you a chance to ask questions. Okay, Finn found the mistake. Well done. Okay, I multiplied both sides by x. Okay, so that means these guys cross cancel. I should only have 6. So sorry, all of it is wrong. Okay, let's do it quickly. Okay, so it's x squared minus 5x minus 6 equal to 0. That is wrong. Come on guys, help me out. X, that's an easy trinomial. What is it?
X plus 2, x plus minus
6 and 1.
Minus 6 plus 1, right?
order.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay, now let's do it like JD wanted, okay? So x equals 6, or what's the other one? Minus 1. Now I'm checking my restrictions. Is any problem with minus 1 or 6? It's like, when you get married and you said, does anyone object for these? Any objection? Okay, no, they're both good. Guys, I'll give you homework now.